Hey, Food Slayers. Good morning. It is early in the morning, and I was just scrolling through the socials trying to just get a handle on the news, and I came across this article, so I figured I would make a public announcement. So here's today's public announcement. It is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, and this ish got me hot. I'm telling you, this is almost unbelievable. But it's an article that is posted on this website that I'm on, Market Intel. And it's talking about the elimination of stepped up basis and what that poses to family farms and farmers. And the subtitle here, potential capital gains taxes are significantly larger than cash rental rates, right? So, farmers who own their property, this article is about like capital gains tax. And when you get old, if you own land and you want to transfer it, ownership to your family, then you pay capital gains tax. And what's terribly diabolical about this is it will really hurt farmers. So there is apparently, and I'm just learning about this, so if you know more about this, please just leave it in the comments below. But the capital gains taxes, they're based on change in the value of an asset, right? Such as farmland, livestock, timber, when that asset is sold. So currently the top capital gains tax rate is 20%. And so when there's, a farmer that dies and wants to transfer the property to his heirs, based on, the market value of that's when, like, these intergenerational transfers. So upon the transfer of the asset following the death, the basis is reset to the market value, right, at the date of the death, right? So, as I was scrolling through this, I'm just going to read a couple of the sentences here. Any change in capital gains tax policy that eliminates or scales back stepped up basis could result in a massive tax burden on the agricultural sector, as if there aren't enough burdens on the agricultural sector right now with the way that property values have, skyrocketed in the last, decade or so all across the nation, because people are, buying land and getting into farming. The price per acre in California and in Idaho and just kind of all over the United States has gone from, a couple $100 per acre to several $1,000s per acre. So it's a pretty significant jump. So here we go. Change in crop land values and estimated capital gains tax. So I'm just going to read it. One of the reasons the step up in basis is so important to farmers and ranchers is the asset values in agriculture have appreciated significantly in recent years. As a result, when farmland is inherited without a step up in basis, many farmers would face very significant capital gains taxes. For example, since 1997, which was the first year of land value data from the USDA, the average cropland value in the U.S. Was increased by 223%, rocketing from $1,270 per acre to $4,100 per acre. Right? And you can see that, and this data is coming from the USDA, NASS, Farm Bureau, and American Soybean Association calculations. Whether we can take them at their word, I don't know, but we can see all across the United States, the percentage change in cropland values is in the multi-hundreds in most places. So then we get to the estimated capital gains tax per acre. So in high productivity cropland areas such as Iowa and Illinois, the average cropland value has increased by more than $5,000 per acre since 1997. Similar changes in cropland values have occurred in areas near metropolitan areas such as Florida and California and along the East Coast. Sorry for all the chirping in the background there. Those are my little babies, my little chick babies. Mother's Day is this weekend, so happy Mother's Day to all you farmland baby mamas, or farmer baby mamas with all your babies coming up in spring. Anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand. You can read this article on their website. The link is in the description down below. But here's the most important part of this, and I'm going to read the summary. To minimize the impact of burdensome capital gains taxes, farmers and ranchers use stepped-up basis, which provides a reset for the asset value basis during intergenerational transfers. And we know that there are a lot of intergenerational transfers happening with farmland and cropland. A lot of farmers are aging out of working, they're retiring, and they want to transfer the land to a living heir, or they wind up selling their property to someone who wants to take it over. So capital gains taxes are based on the change in value of an asset, right? When it's sold. So assuming a very likely capital gains tax rate of 20% without stepped up basis, and I hope you're listening here, it is estimated that the tax burden on farmers and ranchers inheriting cropland would be significantly larger than the cash rental income generated on the farmland. In the case of most farm operations, the capital gains tax would take several years of rental income to pay the tax obligation. Heirs facing these taxes would incur steep costs from selling the land, thereby increasing costs for everyone in the marketplace. If an estate is passed on with debt, which a lot of farmers still have debt on their property, it may not be possible for the family to meet the tax obligation. To protect these family farms and minimize the impact of capital gains taxes, it is important that farms have continued access to stepped-up basis. Eliminating stepped-up basis to generate more federal income risks the livelihood of America's family farms and the economic sustainability of these family operations long into the future. So this is major. This is major because we're talking about money, right? And a lot of us don't want to talk about money. We don't want to talk about our money in the public sphere. We don't want to talk about money in a lot of cases because we just don't understand how things work. And that's okay. Like, most of us don't know how things work until you're in it, until you either learn it the hard way or somebody teaches you about what it means, right? And here we're talking about family farms. We're talking about our food production in the hands of our local family farms and producers, right? Which is super important given the landscape of what's happening with our food systems right now. And if you have listened to any of my episodes, particularly in season 5 and season 6, I talked to a lot of farmers, a lot of small farmers. I've talked about how the corporate control of our food, we're so close to it. And this is just one part of it that starts to make, owning a family farm, running a family farm, being profitable with a family farm becomes so difficult, is because of regulations and laws and taxes like these that keep, it just makes it harder. Like, it's just another thing for families to have to think about, when they're trying to run a business. Do they rent their land to someone, right? Because you can make more money. Apparently, you can make more money renting the land, but there's trade-offs, right? There's trade-offs with renting your land. There's still a tax burden. There's still, lease issues that you have to be aware of with, renting your land. And then, do you want strangers on your property? It's tricky. It's a very tricky thing. But, if there's an intergenerational transfer, and your kids, your grandkids, I'm researching these multi-generational farms and, great, kudos, that somebody in your family a long time ago bought some land. But being able to transfer that land and that asset, right? The livestock, the timber, the land value, the cropland value in and of itself, being able to transfer that without the tax burden completely wiping them out is near impossible with this, proposed, capital gains tax. It's really fascinating what's happening. I encourage you to stay informed. Join the conversation. Link with me on the socials. Support the podcast. Sign up for the newsletter on foodslane.com. We need to talk about these things. We need to get people informed because really, when it comes down to it, right, we're talking about taxes, we're talking about farmers, right, which is already like a hard job. It's one of the most labor-intensive jobs that you can have is running a farm and trying to make it profitable. And, we need to talk about kind of the legal aspects and the financial aspects. We need to keep having these conversations because it impacts all of us. It impacts our local food systems. If you don't have a local farmer in your neighborhood to supply you with fresh, clean produce and meat and dairy and eggs, if you lose that, if we all lose that, we rely on the corporate control, big ag, we already know what we're going to get with that. And if we can't control our food systems, then the risk is, are we going to eat? So I hope that you share this video with somebody that you care about and someone that you love. I hope that you check out this article. Stay informed. And I thank you for whoever posted this on Twitter. Really appreciate you. And remember to eat clean, eat healthy, love your food, and I'll see you on the other side of the plate. Ciao.